Welcome back to the classroom. Come on in. No late pass required. Today, we are doing something that has been highly requested and reacting to the behind the scenes videos for Arcane, Bridging the Rift. Today, we're looking at part 1 titled I Only Dream in Risky. And so I'm going in pretty blind when it comes to the actual makings of this show and the behind the scenes and whatnot, but I will say that the show was phenomenal. Easily one of the best shows I've ever seen, like ever, and has definitely broken into my top 10 shows of all time, and that includes, like, you know, pretty much every show that I have seen, you know, throughout my lifetime. And it's definitely something that I've been trying to share with every single family member, every single friend, anybody who I can talk to about it. And like, most of my immediate circle has not actually seen it, and so I've been trying to get them to get into it so that way I can talk about it a little bit more. But I'm happy to get back into it with you guys, as I needed somebody to, you know, talk to about this and kind of fill the void that has been left with this show ending. And what a note that it ended on. It was just so incredibly masterfully made. And looking at all of your comments and, like, you know, telling me all of these different things that I had missed, and it's just like, it really does show how special this show is and how much I cannot wait for any continuation. And I've even considered getting into actually playing League of Legends, which I never thought I'd actually get to that point, because I had, you know, always gone based off of the, you know, dated reputation of the game. And so definitely looking forward to seeing how they went about making this, because I know that a lot of you guys were saying, like, this there was a lot of money spent on it, a lot of time making this, and it shows. It really does. But I'm curious to see the process, as I've dabbled in the filmmaking aspect, especially being a STEM teacher. I get to do an actual unit on animation, and I have that fun sort of unique perspective on it. And so I always love watching these behind the scenes videos to see, like, just how they did it. And so I think that it's time we just jumped right into it. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. All right, Bridging the Rift Part 1, I Only Dream in Risky. Let's get into it. Ooh, okay. They're going to be showing us some flashing lights here, apparently. Ah, I see, yes. Ooh, okay. Just their logo. When you're going to change the world, don't ask for permission. Yo, what a way to start.
With League, the thing is that you play these characters over and over and over.
Okay.
Hundreds, in some cases thousands of hours people sit with these characters.
Ooh, it's cool. Cool
I'm
keyboards.
Messing around in the jungler right now.
Who are you playing?
Mordekaiser. Because
But I don't I don't know any of these characters.
There's one map, you know, and there's one environment, and you start to wonder, like, where do they sleep?
Oh shit!
What do they eat? What is their normal life like? You know, like, what kind of families would they have?
It's insane seeing them as
We
the
knew
game
the
characters.
very first deep story expression of League of Legends. There's enough
Shin.
games where the audience asks for a movie or a show for years and years and years, and then they make it, and then it sucks.
Yeah.
And then guess what? People stop asking.
Yeah.
We were
That's a whole
afraid of
video
that.
game thing.
We were like, if we
Video
make
game
something that
adaptations
isn't at least
struggle.
good, then we're really, really harming the League IP.
That is the eternal struggle, that is for sure, especially with taking something that a lot of people love. Ooh. Getting a little bit of those Jinx drawings in there.
Right now, obviously, you know, the phase is trying to wrap up season 1.
Trying to wrap up season 1.
Echo was about here. Just oh yeah, it was out here, right? I forgot.
Echo.
Here.
He will
like
be
that.
the worst kept secret of the show. Everyone will know it's Echo when they see the mask. I mean,
You think?
yeah, of course.
In the trailer, I've seen like several videos, people analyzing it, and they're
There
like,
already is-
"Oh, this
there's already
character
people that say that it's
is
Echo.
absolutely not Echo."
Well,
I was
but
like,
okay.
I mean,
the second they see the
I
video,
didn't know. Clearly.
Everyone knows he's like the you know the boy who shattered time. I mean,
That's right.
Oh. All right, I might have to play the games. The boy who shattered time.
built like a special rig on Jinx. You can kind of control going her face from going
Yeah,
looking more
yeah,
childish to like
yeah,
the,
yeah.
You have that somewhere to pull up?
Yes. So when we
Woo.
first got the first rig of Jinx, the idea was to try to connect her somehow visually to what she was as a kid.
Mm.
Face, bigger eyes.
Oh
had a-
shit.
We didn't want the typical,
That's really
crazy
cool.
girl, laughing around like the Joker and just making no sense. We really wanted to make her feel like deranged and emotionally affected by what she went through
Yeah.
as a kid.
Oh, that
Worried
scene.
about, you know, when we get to the adult Jinx, that we just lose that like, I don't know, that
Innocence.
beautiful little soul that just almost just tries to prove to her older sister like, hey, like I can do this.
Yeah.
Believe in me.
God, just the subtle shift like that completely changes how the
We should
character
never work on a project
looks.
that doesn't offer us something personal to explore. I think for the story that we have, it's a story about family. It's a story about siblings that have a hard time forgiving each other.
Yeah.
It's a world of technology kind of taking over and us feeling
Still.
like we're losing control over it.
Still
I think those
absolutely
are
love
something
that.
We as people think about and care about. You know, I think we want to also ask some questions that we think should be asked without necessarily giving you the answer, but at least asking like, hey,
That's honestly it.
does a person, you know, like Jinx deserve a second chance?
Ooh, yeah. Well, that's the thing about life is that like you get
Can a
questions that
monster
you don't
be-
always have the answers to.
I don't know. If you can figure out like what is something that if you love it, a lot of people would love it, that's where you really should go hard. And I think that's what we tried with Arcane, you know.
Yeah.
we'll see, but
Ah, they're
it
so.
has potential.
I think it has potential. They're so doubtful of themselves. Like, why? Like, they're so nervous. Finally dreaming risky. Oh. Yeah, they're so nervous about it. I like that shocks me that they weren't more confident in that it was gonna be good with how it came out.
Bud. The skinks. I've had them for 23 years now. I got them when I was 15 and definitely old enough to make that kind of commitment.
Oh, hello,
The
Alex.
thing when you work on story is that just generally speaking, it never stops. I feel like I just have voices in my head that argue a lot, and every now and again.
Oh, I
something
understand
makes
that.
sense, and then you write it down. And that's basically.
Been there, done that,
That's how
buddy.
the characters happen.
Been there,
These
freaking
are,
done that.
Obviously, League of Legends characters mostly. I was original creative on like Riven up there and Ari and let's see, Wukong, Nautilus, Lee Sin.
Obviously, I don't know all these characters.
I don't know. That guy I thought was cool.
Ooh, that's cool. Got the kind of like
I
the
did
standing
go to
desk.
School for writing. You know, I went out to LA. One of the things that I stumbled upon was a truly bare bones, desperate sounding Craigslist post for a video game startup. My first and consistent reaction
Wow.
was this company has no chance.
Insane.
Beta, and I found the job offering to work in customer support at Riot on Craigslist. Would you let me to be interviewed by Alex?
Yep.
For the record.
So these guys accidentally stumbled in
Really
there.
fun because it felt like there was kind of like the fingerprint of the people who made the game was so palpable when you played it because the characters were so quirky, they were so different. You could just kind of tell people were just enjoying making these
Jeez.
characters.
Early champ concept meetings were so fun. We only had the one conference room, and it would just be everyone at the company who liked that, who was enthusiastic about it, just comes in and
Yeah.
you'd show up with something, right? You'd be like, here's this sweet art that I found, or here's this idea that I just jotted down.
Wow.
Turn that
So they
into-
really just like
I think the reason that we focused on Jinx was because
She's
I
cool.
don't know, Jinx just always had this spirit at the company.
Yeah.
Souza did this. I mean, it wasn't a sketch. It was like a full concept of what she
Wow.
called Psycho Arsenal. It was
Psycho
not so
Arsenal.
different, honestly, from what Jinx looks like right now. You know, the long.
Yeah, I was about to
hair,
say it
just
definitely
kind of, like,
looks
all over the place.
very
I mean, everyone just fell in love
very
with it
similar.
immediately.
She's kind of creepier in the game.
Vi and Jinx were characters that Alex and I always really liked.
Bravo, sis.
She's still creepy now,
Working
obviously.
together on, you know, the different kind of teams. Alex was working like the characters themselves, like their creative, their voiceover lines with, you know, other writers.
I love that.
Always ready to cry.
And I worked on the music and then the cinematic on Jinx. So on the, I want to try something fun right now. That's so
Get
fun.
Jinx
Some kind
music
of
recording.
Spike up, you know, like the screechy.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay. Yeah. Well, all right. Riot Games showing that they can do music again.
And you know, when Christian made Get Jinxed, that was,
Oy vey.
you know, the most storytelling I think we'd seen in a video at that point.
Arcane started when Alex and I sat down together and were thinking what the devil we should be doing next.
Riot in general kind of struggled to put out like long-form narrative content. Our
Oh.
goal was to have deeper storytelling, right? To not
Well,
just do
yeah, with
video
it
game action,
being an MMO, yeah.
or as we at the company tend to call it, fight porn.
Fight
I don't know if we
porn.
call it that anymore, but that's what it always was.
Oh,
Just
that's
always
hilarious.
this sense of obligation to the players, you know, it just felt like we created these characters and the players answered us by spending so much time with them and loving them, and it just felt like they deserved to have better stories.
Whenever Jinx
Ah.
kills someone, she actually gets kind of like amped up. If basically the promise is
That doesn't surprise me.
Thread, some sort of like emotional question thread.
We were just kind of talking, you know, like, man, like how fun it would be to make something that's a bit bigger, you know, and the animation space and the story space, and to kind of embrace all these different strengths that the team had developed over the years. Animation, music,
every child.
Oh.
building characters,
Oh my goodness.
stories, and just go deep on it. We had this amazing, amazing partner in Fortiche, this animation studio in Paris.
Oh.
We worked with them on the Jinx music video,
Very close to the, like...
on the Imagine Dragons music video for Warriors.
Did they really do that for the game? Oh.
They just always had this like this X factor of like these beautiful visuals, it's super artistic and everything. It just
Yeah.
clicked, you know. I always thought that if there's any superpower that we had in the beginning to make Arcane a thing, it was whether or not we could really unleash the potential of Fortiche.
Hmm. So they kept with that animation then? Is what I'm hearing here? Or at least they kept with the animators, I should say, because the animation style obviously was a little bit modified. And having to work through this like during the pandemic as well, I'm sure that also didn't make it easy.
Avec un shot final où t'as Rémi qui serait beaucoup trop à gauche et lui qui serait beaucoup trop à droite, quoi.
Picked up a little bit of that.
The Buddha is the yes man of the company. He's saying yes to everything. That's a good idea. Yes, it is. Can I do it? Yes, you can.
Oh my goodness. It's like me at work. I have problems saying no.
Mix of 2D and 3D.
Oh.
Because the 2D FX are done in 12 image by second, then and the animation it's 24 like all the
Yep.
movie. So you have a mix of style. Geek with dirty.
Yeah, that's definitely Like typical animation is gonna be around that, like max like 30 frames per second. Typically, I should say, especially if you're doing something like stop motion.
Le style très intéressant, quoi. C'est plus organique.
It's very unique.
How do you texturize something to look like a painting?
We paint.
Stop! That's so that's really cute. Why am I don't know why I tear up at that. Like, how do you make something look like a painting? What we paint?
So let's
Like,
say you have like a character smoking a cigarette. Instead of having like 3D smoke being simulated by 3D tools, it's actually 2D drawn. And
made it look so beautiful.
Almost cartoony effects.
Yeah. Such an excellent design choice.
In fact, I start to do this 2D mix and 3D since 20 years with music video.
On est en train de maltraiter.
Interesting.
For me, it's a new way to do animation. It's not anime, it's not full CG, it's a mix of
Kind of 2D and 3D.
of everything.
Are you feeling good about it?
It's an interview right now. Oh yeah.
They're
not in the good mood.
They're all so like hesitant.
Arnaud was doing fun, cool music video with no money.
Je faisais de l'animation, mais c'était tout le temps un peu expérimental.
Whoa.
Bien, en stop motion, mais souvent.
That's really cool.
Partie, quand même live action.
Stop motion is very challenging to do. Coming from experience.
Maybe another day. A little bit drunk, maybe it's gonna be easier.
Oh my goodness.
I met Pascal, he was the best guy for doing character in Paris.
Man, even like the movement of the dress there was very good.
For Marvel and stuff like that. I like characters. I like oh, you can bring personality and bring story.
Shit, okay.
I think back then I just found these tests that they would do where you go like, man, like this looks different. This doesn't look like the typical expensive Hollywood animation production. This looks very French.
Well, those are the ones that are sometimes the most endearing.
I think he liked the mood because it was more adult, more lighting with flares and haze and something more.
Yeah, the lighting is beautiful.
Fortiche from the very beginning had this very unique approach to camera, making
Yeah.
a person filming whatever's happening.
Well, that just makes it even better. Like,
Perfection that could only be human.
yeah,
How it moved and how it felt.
things that are not necessarily intentional, yet they made it intentional by adding it into animation.
To be fair, the first answer when I went to the right leadership was like, I think we should make a TV show about our characters that is the highest budget ever spent on an animated series. It's gonna be great. The first answer was no, get out of the office.
Yeah.
That was like oh crap. Like Christian has showed up with those like bold ideas and bold asks before, you know, and
Yeah.
this one was such a leap from sort of music video to like full animated show. It's so unbelievably daunting. And in the back of my mind, I'm just going, how am I going to talk Christian out of this? Like, how am I going to help him realize that like we're jumping the shark?
How am I
Then I
set?
came back and said, okay, give me like $2,000. They're like, okay, fine. And so we just started, you know, doing some concept.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, okay, you know, this looks really cool, right? Yeah, this looks pretty cool.
I thought it was a great idea, but I also knew how difficult it was to pull something like this off. We have
Yeah.
some video game curse, which is very few games
Like I was
have
saying.
adapted into film and television well.
Well, yeah.
One of the things that's really true that I think every creative can relate to is a lot of great creative ideas, they're fragile. They start off as a dream and an idea and a vision, and they haven't been fleshed out necessarily.
Yeah.
A little bit more. Now we can explore some 3D models and everything. Like $5,000. They're like, okay. And
I don't remember getting any of this money.
Anyway, very unimportant.
You got $2,000.
All right, this is our first behind the scenes in the writer's room. Alex, what year is it?
1922.
While we were developing the story, we also started working
Wow.
on these little spikes.
Storyboard.
It would look like if Vi was just in her apartment in Piltover, and she's like venting about how Powder, her little sister, is just always messing up. It was
You
just
can already see the personality.
where acting feels good.
You already see the personality.
Was run, Powder. Didn't we spend a bunch of time preparing you for this? You and I?
In the back of my mind,
Ooh.
I kind of hope this loses steam because this is so unbelievably ambitious. Like, I don't know how in the world we're gonna.
None of them were confident. And like, at first, obviously, I can't blame them.
That's when I said, could you give me like, I think it was like $65,000 or so.
Wow. Time for us to show off. Oh shit. Yo, I want to get. Are these animations available anywhere to watch?
Fight scene with sort of this animation test with Jace and Vi on a rooftop.
Ooh.
It was so sick, just in terms of how the characters were expressed and how they came to life.
Jeez, looking beefy.
All those little incremental tests were all, they were just like, yeah, we need more of this.
Yo, I want to watch this entire thing. Jace definitely got a lift
I think they realized
in the animation department.
that I'm probably serious about this project.
I don't think he was never not serious.
You have concept art now for the characters, for environments. You have 3D models. You have animation test. You have material that we've had developed for the pilot.
Ooh.
Are we gonna do this or not?
Are we gonna do this or not?
I sort of
Wow.
think of it as like, oftentimes not knowing what we're getting into was an advantage, because I think if we did know, we would have said, "There's no way."
I mean, animation tests, it was beautiful, right? But it was just a small snippet of what the full series would be, and there were so many questions about like, well, what is the full story?
To me, the stakes
That's a
are
big
really
deal.
high because we want to be respectful of players' time and trust. I'd for sure
Yeah.
much rather not do a show than releasing something that's just okay.
I don't know if anyone among Riot's leadership necessarily thought that we would definitely be able to do it.
Yeah.
I think they all understood that we just had to
mean,
try. I mean, like this was a bet. It was a risky bet.
it definitely paid off for sure.
Make that bet. Otherwise, it's only gonna be ever a theory.
Fortiche was 5 people, so we had to build a studio of now 200, 250, 300 people, which is like, how do you build an animation studio? We're a game company. How do you do that?
At that point,
Hey, don't kid yourselves. You're an audio label. You're a music company.
Pour Christian et Riot, c'était est-ce qu'on était capable de sortir 5 heures, 6 heures de film. Et non plus, on ne savait pas.
When I met Christian, I remember him talking about the character arcs and what's gonna happen in that episode, and I've already that in mind, and it's gonna be like so emotional. And I was like, dude, you're crazy. We haven't even started the first minute of the show. I don't think he was realizing what he was getting into, but
That's great.
He was a fool.
Oh my goodness.
The excitement he had when he was talking about the show made the difference to me.
Even when there
It's like
are
when
a
I get
lot of
excited about
question
projects.
marks and obvious concerns, and on paper it's not supposed to work because
Oh, it's so cool.
the experience isn't there in the resume.
Showing all the walking
But
animations.
that's precisely when it's worth jumping into the deep end of the pool and learning how to swim.
Il y avait plus de peur pendant le test que finalement quand on a commencé à faire le pilote. C'est là où on a pu mettre tout ce qu'on avait un peu en nous, toutes nos références, où il y a eu ce côté...
See, am I able to...
le côté geek.
This geeky side to us, thanks to Christian and Riot.
Riot, quand on a vu
Who let us have the keys. Yeah.
Les clés.
Probably should have had subtitles on the entire time they were talking French. Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, first fight scene. Oh. That phenomenal blend of 2D and 3D animation. And this music. Attracts France's top animators to join the project. They expand from a team of 30 people to 100. That is insane. They just decided, like, we're gonna take a bet and we're gonna make this company go from 30 to 100 people. Wow. 10 months are spent animating the first episode. Wow. Ooh. An image we've seen many times here.
You know, wrapped up more or less, and now was the time to start working on the rest of the first season.
We had an entire arc for the first season. I mean,
I don't remember that part though.
You know, lots of art, lots of exploration, different locations.
The
different
rift.
And we were already feeling the pressure of the sort of pipeline rolling.
These episodes
A lot.
take a tremendous amount of time to animate.
Anything
Once
involving 2D
the
animation
episode
is going to be
very straightforward
insane.
with animation. Changes are possible, but any change is tremendously disruptive in terms of the amount
Yeah.
of time and resources.
Oh,
to
yeah.
sort of- so you're kind of locked in.
Mm.
So yeah, at some point, there was a meeting on my calendar, and I went to Brian's office, and there was like a bunch of people in there.
He basically he called me and told me like, hey, you know, I just talked to Brandon and like everyone.
Oh boy.
Basically like an intervention meeting.
Oh shit.
And by the way, that's what we do for everything, even in game. If we're like on the cusp of launching and we think it's not right, like we'll stop, we'll hold, we'll pivot, we'll cancel.
Jeez.
I mean, I think with everything creatively, you know, you're always kind of waiting for that hammer to fall. We
Aye,
wanted
aye.
to make sure the story
Would be the worst news to
players
get.
got lived up to their expectations. If we couldn't do that, then we shouldn't do that.
The amount of passion that these guys has is like
The consensus was
just incredible.
you don't have the story yet, and it's not going to work, you know.
Wow. Ooh. All right. Well, for future reference, definitely putting the subtitles on. That's going to be very helpful to have. And look at all these. Look at all these people involved in this. Even just in like this particular episode here. I love this music. It's very, very satisfying. Very cool. Really, really cool. Oh, they do have the animation test available to watch. Oh, hell yes. Maybe I'll watch that too. Just the full thing. Not that it looked like there was much. It looks like it's a minute and 13, but I'll totally look at it. So we just finished watching episode 1 of Bridging the Rift, I Only Dream in Risky, and what a fitting title to really show how much work, how much time, how much effort went into this, because obviously we had some of our some of the people involved in making this, like getting to show their side of the story, and how it seemed like this was never going to be a thing that was going to happen. Like they didn't even think that Riot Games would even be a success, yet here we are with League of Legends, and all of a sudden, like, oh, they have a popular game, and like they keep on, like every single person here keeps on doubting themselves and doubting like how good each of their creations is going to be. And like, while I do appreciate the modesty aspect, like at some point or another, after you have like so much success, like have a little grain of confidence for yourself, because it obviously seems like they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and they are confident in the process. But I guess for a lot of them, like they never take any of that for granted. Like previous success does not determine future success, and it's really cool to kind of see, like, honestly, how ingrained each of these people are in what they do in their craft. And that's something that everybody should really seek to do, is really enjoy what it is that they do for a living, what their passion is. And it's very obvious that there's a lot of love, there's a lot of passion, and just a lot of care for the material that they worked on and that they continue to work on. And it obviously shows in all of this incredible animation how much time it took just to even get approved to do this. And much of it just because of the fact that they didn't think it could work. They're like, all right, here, we'll satiate you for a little bit, let you kind of test things out, and hopefully that will show you that it's not going to happen. But then he just kept on coming back for more and more and more, until finally they're like, well, I guess we're going big or going home. And that's exactly what ends up happening here. Like they start to go through and try to test out like all of these different animations, bringing in all of these people from a bunch of different places. I believe it was Fortish, bringing in the animation company that they worked so long with for a lot of like game cinematics and character cinematics. And that is a really nice touch, because it just also simply means that you know, a lot of the character designs, a lot of the artwork still feels a lot like the actual games themselves. Like I was very impressed with how well Jinx looked in game versus how she looked in show, because it really does match up very well, almost perfectly. And even in some circumstances, we saw an improvement in the character models and how they look. Especially, I think, with Vi, like her character looks just a lot cleaner in the show animation. Jace for sure got a glow up, but it still feels like it was done by the people who made all of this in the first place. It wasn't just something that was kind of slapped together by, you know, they hired, you know, somebody for like insane amounts of money. Like, no, they're like, hey, you know, Dave from Animation Apartment, like, hey, would you be able to work on something like this? And so like they already had people in mind that they had already worked with. And it really just shows that like each of the people working on this, like every single individual involved is just so dedicated to the craft. And like the character models, like you can see the natural evolution from one sort of style to the next, and how they got to be the character models that we see inside of the actual show versus how they look in game. And it definitely looked like they kind of like cleaned everything up. Like a lot of the in-game ones, like especially some of like the earlier models that we saw them working with, like definitely felt like more of like old like PlayStation graphics. But then when we get to the very end, it's like it has a unique art style which really does stand the test of time. It doesn't matter when you see it, it's always going to look amazing. That's why like a lot of like photorealistic stuff doesn't always work for me, because the closer they try to get to reality, that means that somebody's going to come along at some point or another and make it better. And with something like this, where you make an animation style where it's combining like 2D and 3D animation, with a lot of like the, you know, the puffs of smoke and some of the sparks coming off, very much something that is 2D animation mixed in with some of the more 3D elements, it gives it just this unique style that won't go out of style at any point. Like, it's something that you can watch 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, even like, you know, 60 or 100 years down the line. It will not matter, because it's just simply having this unique style of animation that will not really ever get replaced by something else. It might be improved upon, but it's not going to be ever replaced or beaten, in a sense, if that makes sense. And I love seeing like all of these people are just, there were very few smiles, which was interesting. Like, almost as if like they were recording this at a time where they were like, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm really like, you know, I have to like be careful because I'm saying this before it gets released, and I'm like, oh, we really want to do well because we want to break that video game curse. We don't want to fall into the rabbit hole that is, you know, game adaptations, because a good majority of them suck and it ends up ruining the source material. I mean, great example here, like I tried to watch and react to like about a year ago, like this is way back when I was trying to start up the channel. I tried to do a reaction to the Halo series that released on Paramount Plus, and what ended up just really like, I already was worried about the fact that nobody who was making the show had really ever played the games, read any of the books, like looked at any of the source material. They were just going gung-ho into it on their own, and it completely changed, and in my opinion made everybody's character worse. Like, they already had a phenomenal story, they already had a phenomenal universe, and they ended up just kind of ruining it by trying to do something, you know, different. And, you know, they hired people from outside of their company to do all of this, instead of taking the people like these people right here who are, let's, you know, for example, the guys who worked on this show in the first place and worked on League of Legends and whatnot. They didn't give the show to those type of people, the people who have the passion, the excitement, the knowledge of the source material, and it completely ruined that series for me. Like, I love, like, for those of you who know me very well, I am a huge Halo guy, and that show, like, I couldn't even play Halo for a bit, and that's a game that like I revisit on like almost like a bi-weekly to monthly basis, just because I love that game series and I love the story, I love everything about it. But like, I had a very long hiatus playing the game after watching the show, because I'm like, oh, it's just gonna remind me of this absolute dumpster fire that was the show. And so I can understand their hesitation, and you know, it coming from somebody who actually teaches students some basic animation skills. Like, I will never be able to do what these guys are able to do. Like, I teach some very basic bare minimum things like flip books and stop motion, claymation, that type of stuff, where, you know, I only have a couple class periods to go through it, and even then, like, it is a process that is grueling. It's very monotonous. It's just, it can get very repetitive, and you have to have a lot of patience. And I tell my students that, like, this is not for everybody. This is something that is only for those who are strong-willed. Because you have to be able to sit there and set everything perfectly, get the right angle, get the right shot, and that's what's something that's actually physically there. Like, these guys are like artificially manufacturing camera defects, the things that are just automatically already going to be there when like my students are working with the cameras that we're using. Like, they go through an extra process to make it look imperfect. Like, just absolutely mind-blowing that they would want to do something like that, yet it makes it feel more real. It makes it feel like a lived-in universe, and that somebody is just happens to be around watching all of this unfold and decided to share it with us. Like, unbelievable style to go with that. And I will say right now, I don't know if I'd be able ever be able to do that myself. Like, obviously I've thought about like looking into how to do 3D animation on my own, just simply because it fascinates me to no end. And I will say right now that animation as a medium is just, it is one of the hardest things to do in filmmaking, and I will go on record right now saying that, and make sure that when you're referring to animation, you refer to it as a medium, not a genre, because you can have multiple genres inside of the medium of animation. It's not just, you know, locked down in that one area. It's a reason why I'm not a big fan of the fact that, like, for the Oscars, they have best animated feature for one of the awards. Like, they take all the animation, they shove it in a corner, and like they, you know, make jokes like, oh, animation is for kids. You want to watch this show and tell me that again? Because like there are plenty of animated shows out there that are very much not for kids, and there are animated works out there that are breathtaking, beautiful, heartbreaking, just elicit all of these insane emotions that, yes, there are plenty of examples of kids being able to enjoy, but there are so many examples out there of anyone else, it doesn't matter what age you are, being able to enjoy all of these different things that come out. And even if you enjoy an animation that is for younger, that is made for younger audiences, who cares? Animation is a just absolute breathtaking, beautiful medium that deserves a lot more credit and respect, because damn, it is one of the hardest things that you could possibly do. And like doing this as a career and then deciding like, all right, my job is already hard, I'm gonna make it 10 times harder. Like, gotta say, hats off, so much respect to the people who made this, so much respect to the people who decided to give these guys a space to actually be able to like express themselves, be able to feel confident enough to go up and say, hey, I know you're my boss, but I would love to spend a lot of the hard-earned money of this company to make something that might not work, and, you know, past mistakes of other game companies trying to make adaptations are in mind here, but we're still gonna try it anyway. And they're like, I don't know about that. It really just shows like how much they care. And even like with the end of the video here, talking about how they're like, oh, it doesn't feel like it's ready to go, it doesn't feel like we can greenlight this this first episode, we don't think it's ready to go, we think that we need to change around the story is not there the way that we want it to be. And we can see obviously that there were a lot of shots there that were not utilized in the final cut of the episode. And so I'm really curious to see where they go with this. I love how I really just loved all of this, and how, like, you know, they use the animation studio that they use for a lot of their other music videos. And once again, you guys weren't kidding. It's a music label that just happens to make games and now shows. Especially with like Imagine Dragons, just always there, just ready to make some music for them. And while I don't think they mentioned it in the actual video here, maybe something that you guys know, did the song Warriors get made specifically for League of Legends? I would love to know that in the comments down below if that's something that you guys actually know. And if not, I mean, it's all good. It's just more of a curiosity than anything else. It's not gonna, you know, make me lose sleep at night per se. But just hats off to everybody who's involved in this. It really does show how incredible this series is, and how incredible it's just going to be overall as time goes on and we start to see the next part of it. With people this passionate behind the wheel, I'm confident we're going to get to the destination that we all need to get to. So, if I missed anything, make sure to leave a comment down below for me. And if you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. But in the meantime, class, you are officially dismissed. I will see you in the next video. Peace out, everybody.